What up, people? The Black Friday sales have already started, and there's some really great deals out there, especially if you're a fan of RPGs. And because of that, I decided to compile a list of some of the best deals that Black Friday has to offer when it comes to RPGs. Now, just to let you know, most of these deals are either for PlayStation, Nintendo, or both. I don't play a lot on Xbox, and based off the few polls I've done on my channel, most of the people who watch my videos don't either, so sorry about that. But before we start, if you're new to the channel, I make videos with single player games with a heavy focus on RPGs. If that's something that interests you and you never enjoying this video, consider subscribing and hitting that like button to help with the algorithm. And with the long intro out of the way, let's get into these deals. First up is Metaphor ReFantasio, one of the nominees for Game of the Year and many people's favorite to win. It's on sale for $50 on Amazon for PS5. I'm over 100 hours into the game and it's been a real blast the entire time. The turn-based combat is really fun, especially when they incorporate the archetype mechanic later on in the game. And if you're a fan of the Persona games, you'll get that same feeling without it feeling like a carbon copy of it. The story's been pretty good as well. There's been plenty of big moments and plot twists, and the individual stories with your followers do a pretty good job of fleshing out all the other characters in the story. I would honestly recommend this game at $70, but at $50, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. Speaking of Game of the Year, next we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at $40, which I also think is a great value for such a massive, and I do mean massive, open world RPG. Obviously, don't buy this if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, which happens to also be on sale on the PlayStation Store for around $35 for the Integrate Deluxe Edition, which comes with a digital art book, soundtrack, and Yuffie DLC, which was really good, and it also had a lot of great jazz music if you're into that. Now another option is the Twin Bundle, which comes with both Remake and Rebirth for about $72, which for me is a really good deal for two amazing JRPGs. Now while a lot of people have Metaphor ReFantasio as their Game of the Year, Rebirth is my personal Game of the Year because the combat, story, and music is all incredible, and Rebirth has also some of the best side content in any game I've ever played. Now, a lot of people do complain about there being too much content, which I guess I can kind of understand, but I don't really agree because I put in almost 120 hours into the game and didn't get sick of it because I only did the stuff that was fun to me. Main side missions, card games, and finding the cage for the summer battles were pretty much the only things I focused on, which helped me not feel too fatigued. But anyway, if you like action JRPGs with a great story, these are some of the best to come out in a long time. Next, we have 2023's Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3 on sale for $56. I was so excited for this game last year that I actually bought a Steam Deck mostly to be able to play Baldur's Gate on a handheld. The turn-based combat is great, but the main and side stories and the choices wrapped around them are where this game really shines. While not every choice is a big deal, a lot of choices matter and will have repercussions down the line. Now I know CRPGs can be very intimidating for some people, and while I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a decent place to start with them, if you aren't sure, maybe try Divinity Original Sin 2, which were both made by Larian Studios and is on sale for $18 on the PlayStation Store. Divinity is a little bit more beginner friendly in my opinion, and is also a lot cheaper just in case you don't like it. It's also on the Nintendo Switch by the way, but it's not on sale. So if you're looking for a new turn-based RPG with amazing combat and high quality side content with decision making, Baldur's Gate 3 might be the best game in this video to deliver just that. Another Game of the Year winner, Elden Ring, is $20 at Walmart for PS5, which at first I thought was a price error, but it's also the same price at Target and Amazon, so I guess it's the real price. I'm not big into Souls games, but I know that people who are swear by this game, and the DLC for this game is nominated for Game of the Year, which is interesting. But putting that aside, if you've been curious about what the big deal with Souls games are, give Elden Ring a shot. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is on sale for $25 on Amazon, and just like Rebirth, it's a sequel, so make sure you play the first Like a Dragon before getting into this one. Unlike the other Yakuza games, this one is turn-based, so if that beat 'em up style wasn't your thing, this might suit you better. For you Nintendo fans, the Xenoblade games are on sale. Well, most of them are. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are on sale, both for $42 on the eShop, and the DLC and expansion passes for 2 is also on sale. It took me a while to really get into the auto battle style combat that Xenoblade uses, but once I finally got into it, I really started to enjoy it. I played a little bit of 2 and 3, but decided to go all the way back with 1 for the story, and I'm glad I did. I'm about 40 hours into it, and it's been great so far. Now, from what I remember, the Torna DLC never really goes on sale. Actually, you know what? I just checked. Yep, I just checked on Deco Deals, and it rarely goes on sale, so I would really recommend buying that now if you think you'll have any interest in playing it later. Now, if you're looking for a deal for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 specifically, I think at best it's like $50 physically, but other than that, you might be paying full price, big dog. Fire Emblem Three Houses is also $42. You can get the expansion pass added on for an extra $18, which from what I remember wasn't that memorable outside of a couple extra maps, but maybe go on YouTube to see all that you get because I don't really remember. Three Houses is one of my favorite RPGs ever, and I think it's a great entry point, not just for the Fire Emblem franchise, but for strategy RPGs as a whole. The gameplay is great and the story has branching paths based off what house you choose, and most of the story in those paths are solid, well except one that people have a problem with. Highly recommend you check this out, especially if you like tactical RPGs. Sticking with strategy, Unicorn Overlord is on sale for about 30 bucks on Amazon. I feel like with how much fans adore this game, it kind of got overlooked for some reason. I was personally looking forward to this game until I played the demo and realized I don't really like real-time strategy. I much prefer turn-based strategy so I have time to think and plan out my decisions without being penalized. Now that obviously has nothing to do with the quality of the game. In fact, I know a lot of people who has this as their personal game of the year. So if you've been eyeing this game since it came out, maybe give it a shot. Also, I think it's on sale on the eShop if you prefer digital. Dragon Quest XI is also $35 on the eShop. Not much to say about this game. It's probably the most simple turn-based RPG you'll ever play, and it's still a lot of fun. A lot of people call Dragon Quest games like comfort food, meaning you know what you're getting and it's never going to surprise you, and I 100% agree. It doesn't necessarily do anything innovative, but it doesn't really have to because it does everything pretty well. Just like Metaphor ReFantazio, a lot of the other Atlas games are on sale as well. Persona 5 Royal is 24 bucks on the PlayStation Store, but if you want on Nintendo, you can get it for $1 more on Amazon. The original Persona 5 was my introduction to the Atlas games, and it blew me away with how great it was. Obviously the turn-based combat was exceptional, but the daily school life management was also pretty fun, and balancing both throughout my time playing was a fun struggle to deal with. This game is easily in my top 10 favorite all-time games, let alone RPGs, and I'm jealous of anyone who gets to experience this phenomenal game for the first time. Persona 3 Reload, which came out this year, is also 25 bucks for PS5. Despite some people having a couple issues with some of the changes made from the original, this is still a great game, especially for $25. A lot of people say Persona 3 has the best narrative of all the Persona games, so if you're big on story, maybe start with this one before Persona 5. I also just think this one overall is just a better entry point anyway. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance Deluxe Editions are both $42 on the PlayStation Store and Nintendo eShop. While this game is great no matter where you purchase it, I would personally recommend buying it anywhere but the Switch. Again, if you only have or just prefer playing on the Switch, disregard everything I'm saying. But if you do have stronger hardware, like a PS5, Xbox, or a Steam Deck, maybe buy it on there instead. This will probably be the only PS4 sale I'll talk about today, but Ghost of Tsushima is $30. This game is an amazing and beautiful open world RPG that really makes you feel like a samurai. The combat gets better and better as the game progresses, and you unlock more battle stances. My personal favorite part of the game was the Mythic Tales, which were these narrative focused side missions based around a legendary warrior that ended with you getting their gear to fight with. If you have a PlayStation, this is on my short list of must buy RPGs for the console. The Ultimate Editions for Borderlands 3 are both under 20 bucks on Amazon for Nintendo and PlayStation. I'm a huge Borderlands fan, and actually, fun fact, my channel name is a reference to Borderlands, so there was no way I wasn't going to put these games on the list. If you're not much into shooters, these games aren't really going to do much to change your mind, but despite the mediocre story, gameplay wise, Borderlands 3 is easily the best in the series, no question. Another shooter on sale, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, is 47 bucks. Now, we all know about the disastrous launch, so we can just skip past that. But since then, they've done a lot to not only fix it, but CD Projekt Red has added a lot of content to make this a really great RPG. Most notably, one of those things being the big 2.0 update, which completely revamped the skill tree, among other quality of life changes. If the launch of the game scared you away, this might be the perfect time to see what's new. Horizon Forbidden West is 30 bucks on PS5, and I still say that this game has the best open world that I've ever experienced. Now, while I still have Witcher 3 and Rebirth ahead of it on my all-time list, as far as just having a vast world to explore, discover, and immerse myself in, Forbidden West can't be beat in my opinion. Final Fantasy 16 is $25 on Amazon for PS5. It's a great action RPG with some amazing boss battles. I heard the side quests leave much to be desired, but other than that, most people really enjoy their time with the game. Sticking with Final Fantasy, Crisis Core is $20 on PS5 on Amazon, and I believe $25 on the eShop. Also, I'm pretty sure this is part of the PlayStation Plus Extra, so unless you really want a physical copy, save your money if you already subscribed to that. Sea of Stars is $25 on Amazon for PS5 and Switch. I'm not really sure if this was a Black Friday deal or just a regular sale, so maybe jump on this one sooner rather than later. This was one of my favorite games last year, and while it doesn't do anything really unique, there wasn't really any flaws, at least not to me. The Chrono Trigger inspired combat was really fun, I love the art style, and I don't think I've heard a song in the entirety of my playthrough that I didn't like. While I do have a gripe with how the different endings were handled, that's more personal than a slight on the game. While there are much better turn-based RPGs out there, Sea of Stars is definitely worth your time and is perfect for handheld gaming. Okay, this last section of the video, I wanted to shout out some indie RPGs that I feel like should get some more love. Most of these sales are going to be digital and also mostly on the eShop, but some of these might be on PlayStation as well, but I don't believe so. One of my favorite indie games, Crosscode, is on sale on the eShop for $10, and it's an action RPG with puzzles and dungeons that many people are compared to 2D Zelda games. Now, despite me hating the puzzles and dungeons, I really did love the time I spent with this game. The gameplay was very fast paced, but never felt too chaotic or overwhelming. I'm also a huge fan of pixel graphics, so that's also a plus. If you like fast-paced action games or dungeons with puzzles, this is a no-brainer for 10 bucks. Disco Elysium also is on sale for $12. I know this game isn't going to be for everybody, but as someone who loves a good story with choice-based decisions that actually matter, this game is great. I've said in other videos on my channel that I love how so many of the characters and quests are tied together by various moments and events during your time playing. They let you solve problems in your own way, and it's that much more satisfying when you finally do. Again, I know this type of game isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I do think it's worth giving a chance. Moving over to strategy, both Steamboat Heist games are on sale on the eShop. The first Steamboat Heist game actually got me into strategy RPGs in the first place. If it wasn't for that one, I wouldn't be the huge Fire Emblem fan I am now. While the first game is really good, the second game really upped the RPG aspect by adding job classes to the equation. If I was going to recommend one, I would probably recommend the second one, but the bundle for $20 is easily the best option. A very underrated RPG, Citizen Sleeper, is on sale for $8. It's a tabletop inspired RPG that involves dice rolling in order to decide how you spend your day and where your resources will go. Similar to Disco Elysium, this won't be for everyone, but maybe check out a playthrough to get a better idea of the gameplay loop and overall story. And what I believe is the cheapest game on this list today, Monster Sanctuary, is $4 on the eShop. The game is basically a Castlevania meets Pokemon game, as you'll be traveling through dungeons, and while you're doing that, you'll be hatching, raising, and battling monsters. What I love the most about Monster Sanctuary is that every monster has their own skill tree to customize. You can have one of your monsters be more offensive, defensive, and maybe a healer who adds buffs to the team. While some monsters are better suited for certain jobs than others, I like how the game gives you some freedom to really create a team with high synergy. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the Metroidvania style games because of all the backtracking that usually comes with it, the monster taming and battling in Monster Sanctuary more than makes up for it. Alright, that's all the games I wanted to talk about today. What games are you picking up on Black Friday? Did I miss any good RPG deals? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more content from me, click one of the links on the screen, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later!